In this session, we will dive into hands-on experience using AutoGen framework and build agents that interact with language model and utilize tools to collaborate on simple tasks. We will apply concepts from the previous Agentic framework series. While this session is self-contained, it does not require prerequisite. However, I would suggest to watch the earlier session for high-level overview of the agentic framework to better understand the context. Let's start with a code walkthrough. So we will walk through below four codes. So we will start with AutoGen intro. This code will help us to get basic understanding of AutoGen and give a glimpse of what is under the hood. Then we will extend that code to basically make our agents communicate with a large language model, and and we will use two models. One is the local uh, Olama and also OpenAI GPT. So once we have a basic understanding, we will start using uh, AutoGen Assistant class, which is abstraction on the top of AutoGen core, and makes it very easy to build conversational agents with minimum code. So in code number 3 and 4, we will basically use the tools and also build a multi-agent collaborative uh, uh, workflow. So now let's get started with the code. So before we start the code reviews, so let's understand what is AutoGen core and agent chat. So you can see in the diagram they are layered on top of each other. So the AutoGen code is basically the fundamental building blocks, which supports uh, uh, asynchronous communications, messagings, and interactions. And agent chat, which is built on the top of the core, which basically like you'll see some classes like assistant, like AutoGen assistant and all, which are meant for building complex workflows with a minimum code. So what it means, like it abstracts the internal details of the AutoGen and makes it easy to build a multi-agent uh, collaborative uh, workflow with minimum code. So let us start with our first code. And the purpose of first code is just to have a basic understanding of how messages are passed or the agent interaction happens. So the first thing we do is we define a class. So in our case, this is a message class. But the key point is like it is annotated as a data class, and this basically marks our class as a message class, which will be used to for exchange of messages between the agents. Now, in the very second step, we have defined another class, and we are calling it as a joke star agent. And if you notice, our joke star agent is extending routed agent, and this routed agent is basically a part of the AutoGen core. So if you can see here, this is our routed agent, which is basically a part of our AutoGen core. And now for our Jokestar agent, we need to define one more function where basically we say like once the agent receives, our Jokestar agent receives some message, how it is going to process it. So we define one a function like on my message, but the key point is now this function is uh, a- annotated by message handler, which basically says that on my message is my message handler, which means like when our agent receives the message, this portion of the code will get executed. So it is as simple as that. Like our agent extends the routed agent from the AutoGen core, and it just defines one message or one function, which basically it is our message handler. So in our third step, basically we create one runtime, and single threaded agent runtime is also the part of AutoGen core. And then what we do it, we register our agent with the runtime. And once that registration is done, we go and start the runtime. Now, the next step should be like, since we have our agent registered, the question is how do I send my message to the agent, right? So in this case, if you see, like AutoGen gives us simple method which tells send message, and all we have to do is send the message on the runtime. And when you send the message, basically we have to uh, pass two parameters. The first is the user message, and the second parameter is basically the agent ID, where the message needs to be delivered. Now let's run our code. So you can see, like so far in this code, you might have noticed like we have not yet integrated our agent with large language model. And what we have done is like we have written a function like a get AI joke, which returns the joke uh, randomly. And what we have done is like on my message, where like this is a function which gets executed when the agent receives the message, right? So if you see here, we are just saying joke is equal to get AI joke, which is basically calling this particular function. And the point I'm trying to bring is our agent is not yet integrated with the large language model. So let's go to the next step. And this is our runtime. So we go and execute. Let's see. So we did get this response, which basically said that, uh, hi there, can you tell me a joke? This is basically our user message you can see over here. And it returned me back saying that, why did the AI cross the road? It was part of the training data, and this joke has come randomly from this function get AI joke. So in our next code, we will integrate our core agent or our agent with a large language model. So let's jump to our next code. So in this code, like we will just extend our from the previous code. So if you notice here, like the one change what we have done is now let me run the first block here, and then we go to. So in the block number 3, when it tells a load dot env file, basically it is loading the GPT keys from the environment variable. So let's execute that. Now, if you see in this particular block, we we have a function which returns the model based on which model we are interested. So now let's run this. And now the main change what we will see is it is happening at this jokestar agent. And the main thing is like we are basically initializing a model, and in this case we are using a GPT, and then we are delegating it to assistant agent. And now this assistant agent, if you see, this is part of the AutoGen chat. So now we know like the AutoGen chat is built on the top of the core, right? So now when we want to build a little bit complex agent which will start communicating with the large language model, so in that case we are taking advantage of this assistant agent, because this will hide all the complexities and everything, right? Now, so the first thing we do is basically we are saying to delegate it to assistant agent, and we are passing the model. And now on my message, if you recall last time, we were using our local function to basically render the joke, but in this a code, what we are doing is we are delegating it. So basically we are passing the message to the assistant agent, and that's it. So this is a very simple change, and here the idea is now our assistant agent can communicate with the large language model. And now let's run the code and see what we get. So our message, like the our user message was, can you tell me a joke? Okay, this is our user message. Well, hi there, can you tell me a joke? Now here is your joke, which comes from a GPT, and this is a classic joke which says, why did robot go on a diet? Because it had too many bites. Hope that brought a smile to your face. So the joke is not that funny, but the model at least has tried to give some type of a joke. Now let's jump to our code number 4. And in code number 4, uh, here what we do is basically we build a multi-agent collaborative a team, which will use uh, a search tool to get information from internet, and then it will write that its report onto a file system. So the first thing, like we have this function which tells get tools, and all it does, it makes a instance of a Google Server API, and wraps it as a LangChain tool adapter. And uh, and if you scroll down, let's make run this block first so that we go in a sequence. So now in the final block, if you can see, like basically we get the tools, then we go and get the model, and we have defined here three assistants. So the very first assistant, it is a researcher assistant, which will go and get, based on the user query, it will go and get data from uh, internet. And if you see here, we have given access to the agent tools. What it means, like our researcher agent will use the tools to go on internet and get data. And the same thing we have done with our reviewer agent too. But if we have noticed, to the reviewer agent we have not given the access to the tool. So what it means, like whatever the message or whatever the information is collected by the researcher agent, those messages will be passed to the reviewer. But reviewer, without using any tools, it will just rely completely on the model to basically consolidate and review the report. Uh, and then our consolidator agent is the one which will take the complete outcome, and it will consolidate as a report. And we have asked the consolidator agent to summarize the document as a markdown. So the third agent will be responsible for formatting the document into a markdown. And once we have that formatted documents, we will write uh, the final report on the file system. So now let's run the code from beginning and see what we get. So we got the output. So our query, if you recall, was write a short biography of Mahatma Gandhi, and it did come up with quite detail. And let's go and see what it has written on the file system. So let's go here and see final report.md. So yeah, it did come up with details about Mahatma Gandhi. At least this looks correct, and this is well formatted and well structured. So this, if you recall, our consolidator agent was the one to ensure like the report is well formatted and structured. So just the final recap is like, in this what we have done is we use researcher agent to use tools to go to internet and collect data based on user query. Then we passed it to the reviewer agent who is responsible for taking uh, the output and reviewing the content of it. And once the contents were reviewed, uh, so basically it passes the content to a consolidator agent, and consolidator agent is responsible to format the document. So that is all for this session. And if you like this content and you find it useful, please subscribe. And if you have any feedback or comment, that is most welcome.